Kevin.
Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is where we're filming?
Uh-huh. This is the writer's room, I guess.
Oh, the writer's room. Uh-huh. Well, look. Uh-huh. So here's, they just did this one.
Yeah,
Oprah's
this one,
Vagina,
this
right?
whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't think Oprah's Vagina was among their best, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
As opposed to Super Best Friends featuring Muhammad. I mean, that was great.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Matt.
Sorry, man.
Nice to see you.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi. Hold on, I don't think we did that opening right. How should we do the first meeting?
Bring some beer and some speed.
For the
You want me to walk in
the
again?
DVD, yeah, let's do take two and then.
Okay, take
have
two.
it
Shall I
all.
walk over?
I think a little gayer, man.
Want me to there?
Let's do it, yeah. Oh, hey. Hey, Matt.
Hey, it's great to see you.
So, mwah.
Mwah.
Oh, look
Great
at
to
you.
see you. You look great.
It's Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Dean Martin, and Jerry Lewis. Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I mean, you're better looking than Dean Martin, of course. But do you get pissed off when you know? Why isn't it Matt Stone and Trey Parker? How did that happen? M comes before T.
That's true. No, sometimes it's Matt Stone and Trey Parker, but sometimes Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. And Trey, Trey's the director. He's kind of he's a much better actor. He's much more talented, actually, in a lot of ways. So it's like, I don't really care. I'm just glad to be a part of the ride.
When we first met, I had the sense that Trey kind of liked me, but I felt that you were kind of hostile.
Really?
Yes. And what did you think? What was it?
When did we first meet?
We first met around the time of.
I know, but I'm trying to think of.
When we,
I don't remember exactly when it was.
changed the name of your movie.
Yeah, that was changed our brilliant name of Alfred Packer the Musical. No, I don't remember being hostile. But I probably acted like that because I have a hard outer shell.
Well, we did an interview out at Playa del
Rey.
Del Rey.
Yeah. And
then you farted. I definitely remember it, and I sort of, having been psychoanalyzed myself, I sort of, okay, this guy is a little bit hostile. Now, and then of course you farted on Jeff Fahey.
Yeah, we farted on Jeff Fahey one time, and then we had this friend of ours, this girl, and I went out to Jeff Fahey, me and this girl, what's her name, Christina, she used to work with us, and we just went up to him and pretended like we were super big fans of Jeff Fahey and everything he had done, and I offered her to him. I said, Jeff Fahey, you can have my girlfriend and do whatever you want with her tonight. And she said, I'm yours. My boyfriend says that I'm yours. And he politely declined, but actually, I have to say, like, when someone comes up with you and fucks with you like that, you can act a lot of ways. It was at a club, like, and Jeff Fahey he acted pretty cool about it. He actually kind of deflected the thing in kind of a nice way. I give Jeff Fahey a little bit of props there.
So you weren't farting on me. In other words, if I was farted on, Lloyd Kaufman, was farted on, would that have been kind of like a benediction, or?
That was like, I've farted on some of my best friends.
So that's a good. Could, especially now, it could be like a blessing.
Yeah.
Have you moved up the fart chain?
Now we don't fart on people literally as much as just kind of figuratively with our work. Now we just kind of fart on people with South Park.
What about the smugness thing here? The smugness thing.
Yeah.
That was Clooney's
The
speech.
smug episode, yeah. I don't know, that just came out of like, we were in a writer's meeting, we come up with that really stupid, play on words, smug and smog. And then we were just thinking about what's the smuggest thing in the world, and the Academy Awards had just happened with George Clooney's acceptance speech, which was like the most self-satisfied, the thing where he was like, we may be out of touch out here in Hollywood, but I'm glad to be, and like,
yeah.
The Hollywood has this amazing track record of, we were ahead of the whole world on civil rights and all this shit, and I'm like, that's not, some people in Hollywood, first of all, Hollywood isn't like not everyone thinks the same, but like...
Hollywood invented the blacklist, buddy.
Yeah, and Hollywood invented Amos and Andy, too, it's like, for every, like, good thing Hollywood, has been on the right side of, they've been on the wrong side of a lot of shit. Somebody said the other day, you can either look smart or be smart, but it's really hard to be both. And I think a lot of Hollywood people look smart, but I just don't think they are smart. Hollywood's the thing that, like, had, like... It's why kids think that cavemen hung out with dinosaurs. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, there's like so many stupid things in the Hollywood films. And it's like claiming to be on the right side of everything. It's like, yes, there's all these great movies and great movements, but they also made Krull and Beastmaster, and Megaforce, and a bunch of crappy movies too. Catwoman. And King Kong.
There are some young filmmakers who whose films we've distributed, and they've made no money,
Right,
and they hate us.
right.
Now, you guys, I guess we've returned some money, but not very much on
Yeah,
Cannibal the
we've
Musical.
gotten some money back, yeah.
Do you think that you like us? In other words, do
Right,
you
you're
think
saying
you
if
would
we had
hate
had the
us?
success afterwards.
Yeah, in other words, if this had been your one.
You know, yeah, I mean, I can see it's, you know, film business is like, especially that, the independent film business is like the rest of the film business where there's like one hit pays for, what, 20 not hits, you know what I mean? And it's, I mean, shit, we made more money off of the back end of Cannibal than we have off the back end of Orgasmo, South Park movie, or Team America. Literally none of our movies are in profit. The South Park movie, which is the most successful thing we've done movie-wise, made 53 million domestic box office. So I don't know what that calculates out into DVDs and all the other stuff, but it's made tons of money.
32
really successful.
32 DVDs.
Yeah, 30. Yeah,
That's what
you
you're
would think
stating.
so. Looking at the thing, that movie is still officially $50 million in debt on Paramount's books. So that's the way it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We haven't gotten any back end. So like the difference is on that movie we got some money up front to work on it, so we did get paid at some point. When you do an independent film, you don't get paid. That's kind of part of the thing. So like, I don't know, maybe I would be, but like those guys are gonna hate anybody that distributes their movie because anybody's.
Yeah,
You know,
not
that's
good enough. Yeah,
they would pick whoever. Was that a good answer?
that's a very good answer.
that
I think
the
it's
answer?
absolutely the right.
Did they say yeah they should hate you because you kind of fucked them over?
Yeah, well, in other words, they have high expectations. I think
Right,
the
what do they
problem
think,
is,
you know,
and
they-
that's all they've got. They got the one.
Yeah,
the one.
there's the guys who did
yeah.
Blair Witch Project, and then
Yeah.
there's everybody else.
Yeah,
Like, you
that's
know,
right.
that doesn't
That's
work
right.
that
And
way.
and all these other guys are looking
Think
at Blair
they're
Witch.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
shit,
And they
Blair
think
Witch-
that we're loaded too. They think that Troma's full of money. And but so if you, but you know, in other words, you might feel that same way if you hadn't
I understand how
made a lot of money.
It would be hard if I didn't have the experience of having that happen at other places and other levels and everywhere in town. Then yeah, I might have that misconception that like, hey, you know, that we're the only people who got screwed over here. But that's pretty much the business. And you try to, you know, I think the best lesson we ever had was, and the best thing ever happened to us is just keep going and just, you know, forget about that. Just do something new and keep doing something new, and then you get paid for that stuff and you get to make a living. And then, but you don't think in terms of like, where's my royalty payment? Because you just can't.
I got a call.
You just can't. You know, it's unfortunately you can't think about that.
I got a call yesterday from Brett Ratner. When he
Uh-huh.
called me, I didn't know who he was, you know. And he gets
Yeah.
on the phone, he says, hey, buddy, you know, okay. And he says, I'm obsessed with Mother's Day. I'm obsessed with Mother's Day. Apparently this guy has done...
He's a big director, yeah,
Huge,
yeah.
big
Yeah, yeah.
big director. I said, well,
He
you know...
wants to remake it.
Yeah, they want to remake it. He wants to remake it. And we've had some offers for Toxic Avenger. And,
Sure, sure.
And I said, well, I think it's, you know, this is my brother's movie, so, you know, $250,000 might be fair to give him up front, you know, against whatever. He said, well, what if we give you a bigger back-end deal?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fucking 60 years old. I mean, what the heck was he thinking? Did he really think I was gonna...
Yeah, you're 16.
And
Back
yeah.
end. Wow. I've always thought we've got a little bit of money back from Cannibal, not a lot, but we have gotten some money back. I mean, we've actually written checks to our investors from that, and then you don't have UK. Remember, we'd sold the UK before we sold it to Troma. We've gotten a little bit of money from there. From a little bit, two different sources, we've given our investors back, I think about a quarter of their investment, and they're all ecstatic. Like they were doing it, I would say, like, bless their souls, as a charity project anyway. We were in college. And the fact that we've come through and given them money back, they've all been really happy. So, and we did the good thing, which is, and Jason McHugh mostly stays in touch with them, but like through the years, at least the first 3 or 4 years after we finished the film, we'd write them a letter. Here's what we're doing. You know, we kept them up to date, and our investors, as far as I'm know, are pretty happy with us. So.
And the Team America interview that we did, you and Trey, you guys were pretty beat, and you
I
said,
remember that.
I asked you what's next, and you, we're hanging it up. And,
Yeah, it's like, fuck that. I remember that interview. That was the worst time of my whole life was doing that movie, by far. Like, there's nothing even like a second place. That was the hardest thing I've ever done. I remember when you showed up. I saw a little bit of that footage, actually, and you're trying to get an interview. It was just like, there'd be 1,000 things going on, and every one of those decisions is like a $25,000 decision. It was like something I've never been involved with before. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want this or this? It's $25,000. Like, what? You know what I mean? How do you deal with that? You know, and it's
I
like
have that
all
kind
day,
of
every day.
stress. I have that kind of stress on like $200.
I do too. That's what was so amazing about that project. It was really
Yeah.
tough. So I remember the day you showed up, we were ready to cry.
This Mohammed censorship.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thinking of Comedy Central, if you can speak to it? They don't want you to use Muhammad picture. Was that what the
Right.
deal was?
Well, we about 5 years ago, we did an episode called Super Best
Super
Friends,
Best
which
Friends,
has
yeah,
Muhammad
yeah,
in it.
exactly.
We decided to do something about, we didn't even start the episode thinking we were going to do something about the image of Muhammad as much as the controversy with the Danish cartoons.
Yeah.
So it was so ripe to do something about, and like, it was, it's called, it's known as Cartoon Wars. It's like right up our alley. And then what we wanted to do was just show Muhammad just sitting there drinking tea, like just a regular looking guy drinking tea. And that was the idea, was that the Danish cartoons were basically, they could be seen as politically and religiously insensitive and like, I mean, they were offensive, but they were political and they were kind of meant to stir up stuff. But we wanted to do something that was completely apolitical and just like,
Right.
hey, we're just going to show his image to like, to talk about that issue. And they wouldn't let us. And it was because of they were basically afraid for their lives.
But meanwhile, the Super Best Friends DVD is out there.
Yeah, and it showed that
So
episode shows the
Islamic
syndication.
people don't have DVD players.
They don't want to deal
Is
with
that the idea?
if we would have done it, they didn't want to deal with the controversy. They didn't want to deal with it, and it was one of the first times they told us that we couldn't do something like that. And we had a big fight with them to do it. But at the end of the day, we thought we could get away with doing an episode that still addressed the issue, and to give Comedy Central no one else would have shown it either. It's not just Comedy Central.
Yeah,
There's no
right.
other place. HBO, people are like, you should go to HBO. HBO wouldn't show it either.
Of course
NBC, ABC, Fox. If there's any place we thought we had a chance, it was where we were, Comedy Central, and we thought they would, and they wouldn't. What they said in their press release is we were basically afraid for people's lives. I mean, they didn't claim religious sensitivity, so they at least had a little more balls
At least
than. At least they were honest.
So they said we're doing this because we don't want our place blown up and innocent people.
Right. Or other innocent people to
Yeah.
die, whereas like a lot of the newspapers didn't claim that, they claimed religious sensitivity. I mean, so I'll give them a little bit of
I
credit
get
for
it.
being honest.
Well,
I'm
I
still
think-
upset with them because I still think we could have done it.
Sure, of
I
course
think
you
they overestimated the threat.
Speaking of Comedy Central, why haven't Comedy Central played Cannibal the Musical?
I don't know. I've asked them on several occasions. They have really important stuff they like to show, like Jeff Foxworthy. I don't know.
And that Kumbaya thing, where they said the Peace
know.
Corps movie where they all sing Kumbaya.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is it? Is it? Do you think it's the trauma thing? I mean, is it that because they don't own it or they don't control it?
No,
or-
because they buy stuff all the time that they don't own. I don't know why. I don't know any of that stuff. Like, I think they should. I don't know why they wouldn't just buy it and put it on late night a couple nights.
Yeah,
Just because of us.
you
Just
got-
because of us, you know what I
That's
mean? If nothing else.
Exactly.
Yeah. And,
How can it be-
and by the way, it's a funny movie.
It's a great movie.
Yes.
People love it.
And you're going to sell it for cheap.
Yeah,
You
of
sell it for
course. We're
nothing.
desperate.
Yeah.
We're running
Trauma.
out. Well, I mean, we're desperate too. Believe me, we're fucked. I'm not joking. We are really fucked. How do you know what is okay to poke fun at?
I basically think everything should be on the table Comedy Central can do whatever they want. They can show whatever they want. I mean, they're a private, they're a business. I mean, I can't force them to show something
right.
they don't want to. But what's scary about the Muhammad thing is that I don't want to say they want to, but they had no problem with showing Muhammad until they felt that they were threatened with violence.
Yeah.
And then, so it isn't really a free kind of market.
Yeah.
And I feel like it basically should be.
As Biggie said, is there more money means more problem, or whatever his line was?
For the most part, it's the same job. It's the same shit. I mean, this morning when we had to push this interview off a little bit, it's because we have an episode on the air on Wednesday, and we literally this morning couldn't think of anything to write. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
Was that
it's
the
me.
crisis?
Yeah,
that,
we were, and like
Kurt called me up to.
Yeah, and we don't have we have to the whole building's waiting for us to spit out a scene to go do, and we're sitting here going, we can't think of it. We couldn't. We were thinking around, and nothing was hitting, and it's just like, and so it's maybe a little more pressure. There's more money. There's all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's mostly me and Trey sitting in a room trying to make each other laugh, which is what it is. A lot of times there's a lot of the in-between bullshit and a lot of the stuff you have to deal with that's not that, but that's the only part of it that seems to not ever change.
You guys gave me a little part on Orgasmo, which I was most
Oh, yeah.
appreciative. And as I recall, you'd mentioned that you had gone to do research there and had gone to porno sets.
We've gone to porno sets.
Did the women really dig what they were doing, or was it?
Well, I mean, we went to porn sets run usually by Farrell Tim Lake, who's an associate producer on Orgasmo, who's a friend of ours, and he's a pretty above-board guy. He was a pretty good guy, so I think he ran pretty good sets. So there's nothing really creepy going on. But it was very clinical. It wasn't that much, like, you think it'd be more like for a,
Were the
Yeah.
women that turned on, or were they just faking it, do you think? Or both?
well, I can never tell.
Uh-huh.
You know how women are. You can't tell if it's fake or not. No, I don't know. I think they were faking it a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very clinical, that's all I have to say. It's not like,
Yeah.
they're shooting, it's like, and you're like, okay, wait, hold, cut, and like cut, and like in a movie, cut, and then they're, sitting there in the middle of it, and it's like, okay, now move around, I get under here. And the other interesting thing I learned about is
Did you find it
a
was-
position called up and
Sorry.
over. They have a position called up and over, which is like when from the guy's fucking a girl from behind, and he gets in that ridiculous pose that's like, where his legs are apart, and he's like that. He's very good like that. And then the camera's back here, like behind the ball point of view. And it's the most, if you've ever tried it in your real sexual life, it's the most uncomfortable, most ridiculous position to be in, but there's great shots you can get, and that's why they do that. I learned stuff like that.
So,
Up and over, I think it's called.
now, working with marionettes, I mean, there had to be similar mechanical
Porn
problems.
stars.
Well, I mean, seriously, you had to have them hit the marks, and there had to be, I mean, it must have been a kind of a clinical sort of a thing, no?
If there's any advice we could ever give any beginning filmmakers, it's never, ever, ever work with marionettes, ever. Never. It was horrible.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We'll never do that again.
Do you think that you have to come to LA to make it?
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, as stupid as it sounds, it's like, I mean, we we're from Colorado, and for about a year there, when we first started trying to sell Cannibal, we were like, well, we'll just go out to LA just for a few weeks, and we'll come back to Colorado and make our movies in Colorado. It just doesn't work that way. It's unfortunately like, it's like this is where the industry is. I mean, maybe New York, you can stay in New York and do stuff, but
Unless you're Stan Brakhage, in which case...
yeah, well, you're Stan Brakhage, you can go
film
goof
your
around
wife
wherever you
giving
want.
birth, yeah.
You can
Film
get your camera and go.
an ashtray with a
Yeah, it
cigarette
doesn't matter. Yeah, if you're someone like that, but if you want to do anything that's slightly, I would say commercial, but even like you want people to see, I think you got to come to New York. I mean, LA, but you might be able to do some in New York, but the amount of the stuff that, I mean, everything's here.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I wish it could be more spread out, but it's here.
When you started, Cannibal, I guess, was your first movie, pretty much, right?
Cannibal, yeah.
Cannibal, the musical. Now, that you made with your own money or with your friends' money, totally responsible to nobody, right? You had total control,
Total control,
freedom.
yeah.
The man was not involved in any way.
Nope.
Now, how about, you think you and Trey, or you or Trey, will have that same situation? Would you ever do that again?
I mean, yeah, we might. In a lot of ways, we've kind of, it's good we started that way, because I think we've kind of transferred that attitude to South Park and to the movies we've done. The pressure that we feel when we're doing South Park, either the movie or the TV show or Team America, I mean, lately, that's our experience in the last few years, is solely to like what it is and people watching it. And we want it to be good, and we want it, and it sounds really cheesy, but like any movie we do, Trey has final cut, that's in our contract, and we won't even start a movie without that in the contract. So like on Team America, Trey had final cut. We really did have complete creative control of that movie. As long as it's legal, we could do whatever we wanted to do. I have to say the studio left us alone. But there's a flip side to that too. It means you can't cheese out and say, well, you can't blame it on the studio. You can't say, well, they wouldn't allow me to do this. Like, we can't say that about Team America. That's a movie we wanted to make pretty much. So, any failing or any way it doesn't stack up is our deal. So I don't know, like, I don't feel like we're any less, in a lot of ways we have way more freedom because we work with, incredibly talented people, and, we have money to do what we want to do now. So
Yeah.
I think we're,
It's a trade-off,
in
yeah.
some ways it's more free, but yeah, you got to deal with bullshit when you're taking someone's
Yeah.
money, but.
To me, Team America was the best. I mean, it was terrific. It was the
Oh,
best.
thank
Did you guys feel that way? I mean, were you okay with it?
No, I think Team America's great. I wish we would have had another, a little bit of time to do like one or two more cuts. I wish we would have had a little longer post schedule, but we backed, and it was all our fault. Me and Trey backed ourselves into this really stupid post schedule, and we just had to get it done really quick. So sometimes I wish we had another stab at the editing, but
Why was
I
it
think
such?
it's
Why was it
great.
such a rush? What was the deal?
well, if
Why
you
did
remember,
have
it
to
came
rush?
out October 15th, 2004.
Four?
Just before the presidential election, the Bush Kerry, and for some reason we had it in it was such an overheated time with foreign policy, and we felt like that's what the movie was kind of about, that we felt like it would change after the election. And we felt like we had to get it done and get it out before the election because, you know, what if Kerry got elected, it would be really change the dialogue of the country. And we felt like it was important. I think in retrospect, we were totally wrong about that. I think the movie could have come out 6 months later and been just as timely. And I don't know why we got caught up in that. And it wasn't just we didn't think it didn't work. You're trying to maximize, you know, unfortunately doing a movie is all about that opening weekend. And you just need to make a splash, you know. And we thought we would make a bigger splash in the pond then than if we waited until Christmas movies or even after the first of the year. And again, I think we were totally wrong about that. I think it could have come out later. We could have refined the marketing campaign and maybe even done another cut of the movie. But that being said, I'm totally proud of the movie. I love it. I think it's really cool.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's really
the
unique.
best. It's absolutely
It's a brutal,
the best.
you know. It sounds like it's not brutal, but it's like got a little like it's a little more edgy. It's like a hard edge to it, you know, than other stuff we've done. So,
Yeah. Would you work on your own? Do you think you'll do something on your own, or will you and Trey stay together?
oh, I think
Have you ever
yeah, it's working out. So I think we'll probably stay together. I mean, we don't have anything in writing or anything, you know. We like, you know, it always seems to work out that way, you know, and it's been a good partnership. So kind of why break it up the band at this
Michael,
point?
hers, and I have been together.
Yeah, it's like,
But
you
of
know-
course, we fuck each other. You guys aren't.
We don't
fags,
fuck.
so,
No, we kissed once in a movie,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
right.
about it.
Hey,
That's it.
speaking of which, how was it? How did it feel when you went? And again, forgive me if you've been asked this a million times, but when you were at the Oscars dressed up as women, how did it feel with the people around you? Because they clearly they were fucked with.
So it was such a weird experience. Well, first of all, we were tripping on acid, so my view of the whole thing is very, very skewed. It seemed to me about half the people were horrified, and about half the people were kind of secretly, I think, stoked. There were a few people. I remember the one person I do remember. Right when we got there, you could just feel this like you know, it's this huge crowd and there's all these people. You just felt every face start to look at that. Because like we walked in and they have these big monitors that show you, and I'm pretty tall. Like I'm 6'2", so like and Trey's like 6 feet,
Yeah.
6'1", so like. You know, you could see us, and like we both had kind of these little heel things on, so like we were pretty tall, and we had big hair, and sunglasses, and it was like we just looked ridiculous. And it was, I remember Michael Caine, of all people, stepped right up to our first interview, put his arms around us, and was like, "These guys are awesome."
Yeah.
It was really cool, like, and boy, you know, he's a great actor. And
He's
stuff. But
the
then
best,
some people
yeah.
were like, I remember Gloria Estefan was just like giving us the evil eye, and like Phil Collins hated us, and
Insult to the Academy.
yeah, it's like, ugh. And you know, we just did it just to be dicks, and just to be, you know, we didn't know how else to go.
Oh.
I'm glad we did it. I'm so glad we did it.
So at the time you felt what? How would you describe your feelings? Was it just, well, of course you were an acid. So.
We were on acid, so like I remember thinking kind of it. Then this is why we took the acid. It kind of all made sense, you know. I sat there and I was like, you know, it's all right. And then we went and won the awards for an hour. Waited till Trey lost to Phil Collins. Went to the bathroom, changed into suits, and went out to dinner. And then went to the parties. We had a really good time. Somewhere I would love to get a hold of Spike Jonze was in the bathroom, and he took pictures of us getting out of our dresses and into our suits. And I would love to find. I was going to ask him about that
that'd be very
sometime.
cool.
Get those pictures.
One final question, if you don't mind. Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival.
Yes.
You've been there as a kind of a wannabe or a on the rise
Yes.
filmmaker, an established filmmaker, and then
We've been
and
on
then an
there
icon.
as a reject when they rejected Cannibal, and we just went anyway. That was in '92 or '3, probably '93. Where they didn't accept Cannibal, we just went and crashed it before Slam Dance was there. We went when Spirit of Christmas got big before South Park hit. They all of a sudden wanted Spirit of Christmas in one of their shorts programs. So then we went as like the best looking girls in town. And then we went with Orgasmo because they let Orgasmo screen there. And I haven't been back in 5 years. I have no desire or reason to go, you know.
What do you, I mean, is your view of Sundance? I mean, you guys,
No,
I
I
stayed
mean-
in your, I mean, you guys turned me, I mean, we started that Trauma Dance thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a place for it. I mean, it's fun, you know. Like we had a lot of fun, but it's just. I mean, it just shows you is like when
You haven't
we
changed
needed.
your opinion of it.
No, not really. When
Basically,
we needed you know, when we could have not needed, but we could have really used Sundance, and we really were independent filmmakers. They rejected our. I mean, we were like the, you know, I mean, Cannibal didn't fit their profile, but like at that time we were the example of like guys in Colorado who go raise their own money and make a film. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
We were the guys that you would give a place on a film festival to. And then when they went at Spirit of Christmas, it was after we were already big hits. We didn't need their help. And then the Orgasmo, it's like, well, give our spot to somebody. This like Orgasmo's going to be seen. It's not going to have a problem. So that's a little. But your star power at that point.
Yeah, exactly. One other quick thing. Do you have advice for young whippersnappers who are coming along, or?
One, don't ever work with marionettes. And two, you'll never, ever, ever get any back end, so just forget about it. Get it in your contract just in case there's a Blair Witch Project. But
Did those guys see anything from
oh
that?
yeah, those
They
guys
did.
made a ton of money. Sure, yeah. There was just when it's that much money, that's all you're protecting yourself
Mm-hmm.
against in back end is like a pretty big hit, but don't expect it. And yeah, so then just keep working on other stuff. Once you're done with your movie, give it to Lloyd to sell and go do another movie. That's what I would say.